If you've spent years, maybe even decades, building your wealth through real estate, well, you've really put in the work. You've built something incredible, and that's a huge achievement. But as you get closer to retirement, or maybe you're already there, you might start to notice that the role your properties play in your life is changing. So let's talk about what that really means. So, does this question kind of hit home for you? It's funny, a lot of really successful landlords find that what used to be a great investment strategy now feels like a full-time job, one they never planned on having in retirement. It's such a common feeling. Some people even call it tired landlord syndrome. And believe me, it is a very, very real thing. And it's really no wonder why. It's those late-night calls, right? The ones about a leaking roof. It's that constant low-level hum of stress in the back of your mind about a potential vacancy. It's dealing with tenant issues that can just be so emotionally draining. And it's always wondering, when is that next big, expensive repair going to hit? This is the stuff they don't exactly put in the brochures.
I think one of the biggest myths out there is that rental income is just going to slide right in and replace your salary. But the truth? It's almost never a smooth, predictable check that shows up like clockwork. Real-world rental income is, well, it's lumpy. It might be great for a few months, and then bam, one major expense comes along and just wipes out all the profit. That kind of unpredictability can create a lot of anxiety when you don't have that W-2 income to fall back on anymore.
And as a property gets older, there's this hidden risk that starts to creep in. See, major systems don't just fail randomly. They often fail in clusters. It's like they all make a pact. Your 15-year-old roof, your 12-year-old HVAC, and your 10-year-old appliances, they could all decide to give up around the same time. Now, for a retiree leaving without that regular paycheck, that's not just an inconvenience. It can be an absolutely devastating blow to your cash flow.
And let's talk vacancies for a second. If you're a retiree with, say, a modest two-property portfolio, a single vacancy isn't just a little dip in your income. No way. It's a 50% drop in your gross rental income overnight. But all your expenses, the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, they all stay at 100%. That's a level of risk and volatility that very few retirement plans are really built to handle.
And let me be perfectly clear, your strategy to get to this point was probably brilliant. Using real estate to build wealth is an incredible engine for growth. But it's so important to recognize that the rules of the financial game, they completely change the minute you retire. The strategy that was perfect for building your nest egg isn't necessarily the right one for living off of it.
This really highlights that massive shift in your financial life. During your working years, you were in what we call the accumulation phase. The goal was all about growth, right? And you can handle being actively involved and dealing with some volatility. But in retirement, you walk into the distribution phase. And here, the whole game changes. The goal shifts to preservation and predictable income. The mindset, it turns towards simplicity and peace of mind.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? You have to start looking at every single one of your assets through a new retirement lens. It's not about getting rid of good assets. It's about making sure the job they're doing for you actually aligns with your new life, a life where predictability and simplicity are really the new currencies.
Let's just define our terms here, because it's really important. This is what being a landlord often is, an active income source. It demands your time, your mental energy, and your direct management just to keep it running. It's fundamentally different from a truly passive income source, which is money that just shows up, without you having to do anything.
Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking. Wait a minute, I have a property manager, so my income is passive. But is it really? A manager might handle the day-to-day calls, sure, but you are still the CEO of a small business. You're the one making the big decisions about capital. You approve the major repairs. You carry all the liability. And you're the one who has to find a new manager if this one doesn't work out. It's a semi-active role at best.
Let's just make this real with a quick story. Meet Susan. She's 70, and her fourplex brings in what she thought was a stable $8,000 a month in gross rent. But then, two of her long-term tenants move out at the exact same time. All of a sudden, she gets hit with $10,000 in turnover costs, painting, cleaning, the whole deal. With 2 empty units, her income for those months doesn't just go down, it goes negative. Her stable income stream just became a liability, causing her a ton of stress and forcing her to dip into her personal savings.
So this brings us to the big question, the most important question really. If that old model has these kinds of risks baked into it, what should we be looking for instead? What are the qualities of an income source that is truly built for this new chapter of life?
Well, a truly retirement-ready income source really ought to offer 4 key things. First, predictability. We're talking consistent cash flow that you can actually count on to build a budget around. Second, simplicity.
an investment that doesn't drain your mental energy. Third, liquidity, the ability to get to your funds if a real need comes up. And finally, and this might be the most important one of all, peace of mind, the freedom from the stress of having to actively manage something.
This all leads to a really necessary shift in how we think. In retirement, it's not just about the pile of assets you own anymore. It's about how you strategically arrange and structure those assets to create an income stream that supports the life you actually want to live, day in and day out.
And ultimately, it just comes down to this. You've already done the hard part. You've spent a lifetime working and saving and investing. The goal now is to make sure all that wealth you built starts working for you, providing not just an income, but a real, true sense of security and peace.
So if any of this has been ringing true for you, maybe it's time to look at your own situation through this new lens. It might just be the perfect moment to start exploring how your assets can be better aligned to support this really exciting next chapter of your life. Thanks so much for your time.